Hello, my stamping friends. My name is Holly Peterson, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator with Stampin' Up! In the United States. And today I'm going to do a quick one-sheet wonder with a 6x6 piece of paper showing you how to make these 4 cards. This was a class I did for my card class in May, and I think the gals really liked how it turned out. So today, and it was all focused on the new in colors. So this is Peach Pie, and we're going to use Petunia Pop today. So I gave them a 6x6 piece of paper, and then I had a template for each of them and asked them to bring their trimmer to class. So they cut their designer paper themselves, and then I had everything else ready for them. And this is how my card samples were. I had Post-it notes on the numbers that correlate to the numbers here. And then this is what their packet looked like. I had all of their cardstock in one of the envelopes. Of course, they got envelopes for all of the cards. And then I had these little baggies that I numbered with the corresponding designer paper pieces that they're going to put the cards together with. So with that, we are going to go ahead and get started. One thing I didn't do ahead of time, which I will go do real quick now, is emboss all of the layers for the cards. So I used a skinny embossing folder and the new eyelet embossing folder and the distressed embossing folder. So let me just bring over my Big Shot. And it's not a Big Shot, sorry, it's a Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. So I'm going to do this first one. And this is one of the folders from the Fun Patterns. And I'm just going to use the line here at the bottom to make it straight. And then just eyeballing it to see if I have the same amount of space on either side. So I'll run that through. I love this folder. Those little flowers are so pretty. So we can go ahead and adhere this to one of our layers. And it looks like I might need to trim this one down just a hair. I'm going to trim it down to 5 3/8 by 4 1/8 by 3 7/8. Okay. I'm just going to glue that onto there. Let me get these out of the way. And I score their card bases for them, so they just have to reinforce that score. Okay, there's our first one. We'll just set that aside. Oh, I didn't tell you, the stamp sets and bundles that I'm using are Flowers of Beauty and Unbounded Love. These two are a suite together in the annual catalog, and I love both of them. Okay. The next one I'm going to do is the Distress Tile. And again, I line my cardstock up with the line at the bottom. It's not super important to do that, but if you like the image to appear straight, it's a good tip. Okay. We'll go ahead and put some adhesive on this one. And then these last two, I'm going to use the eyelet embossing folder. I can find it. Because this is a 3D, one of the thicker embossing folders, I'm using my base plate 1 and my gray plate 4. Okay, we've got all that embossing done now. So we'll just adhere these to these remaining card bases. Okay, about ready to start putting these cards together. Okay, I'm going to bring back in my template here, set it off to the side. And of course, because this is 6 by 6, it doesn't matter which way we start. So my first cut is going to be this one at 1.5 inches. So I'm going to line this up with 1.5, and I'm going to cut that, and then I need to cut it down to 4 3/4. So then this is going to go with my envelope for card 1. So I'm just going to stick that in there. Maybe. There we go. My next cut, this is now 4.5 wide. So my next cut is going to be at 1.5, turning the paper this way. That goes into the envelope for card number 2. And now this is 4.5 by 4.5. We only need them by 4. So I'm just going to trim 1/2 inch off. And then I'm going to turn it and cut it at 2.5. That gives me my 2 by 4 and my 2.5 by 4. So the 2 by 4 goes into envelope number 3. And the 2.5 by 4 goes into envelope number 4. And then these 2 little pieces are the only scraps that I have left. This one you could use on the inside of a card. I'm not sure what to do with this little piece, but maybe I'll find something to do with that. Okay, we're done with this. So card number 1, I had, let me take this out of this plastic for you. So card number 1, I put on this piece, and I realized I was trying to put it on a layer and not my card base. So when I cut it down, well, I guess it's okay. It just barely shows, barely has any border here on the side. We'll go ahead and continue with this. And with this, you can decide which side of the paper you want to use. I think for my birthday card, I'm going to use that side. So I'm just going to adhere this. To the white layer. And I'll have all these other measurements over on my blog at hollyscrafting.com. And then we're going to just glue that down to the center of the card front. Dump all of our little pieces out. And I like a silicone mat for this next part. So before I stamp, I'm going to adhere this layer. Get all these little dots out of here. So with some liquid glue, I'm just going to put little dots. I should remember to check this glue before I come over here and stamp, because it never plays nice when I'm doing a video. Okay. You saw me wipe that on my silicone mat. The nice thing about the silicone mat is that glue won't stick to it. Once it dries, you can just wipe it off. So then I'm just going to put this on here. And then I didn't try it, the Petunia Pop on the Petunia Pop, so I'm going to stamp that in Basic Gray. Like that. I'm going to clean this because we're going to use this with Petunia Pop as well. So I just have my chamois in the stamp case. I'll just wipe that off. I did pop this layer up, so we will maybe get some dimensionals. Like that. And then I cut out these little flowers, and I'm going to use a glue dot. And I'm going to put 2 up here. And then 1 down over here. Then I'm going to take my Take Your Pick tool, and I have 3 small rhinestones that I'm going to put in the center of the flowers. And then larger rhinestones, I just have 2, and I'm going to just stick them in the left corner over here. And then on the inside of these cards, I just used the stamp and the coordinating color from the front. I just stamped those little flowers on the inside and then the envelope. So there is card number 1. Card number 2 is another birthday card. So this one is going to go this way. We'll dump out all of our pieces for envelope 2. I'm going to, you want to make sure you know which way these layers go back together, because this die, it cuts this skinny little frame, and then you can use the inside with a different color for your sentiment. So it's important that you know which way you're going to glue the glimmer onto your card so that your greeting's not upside down. So let's start with, on this one, I'm going to use the opposite design. We'll just center that on there. And then put it on our card front. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and with some liquid glue again. Oh, I have all these little dots that need to be poked out of here. I do a lot of the die cutting, but then they have to do all the poking out of their dies in my class. Stubborn little fellas. With that glimmer paper, it's a little bit thicker. Probably would have been better to use my die brush, but I think I got them. Okay. So right now it doesn't really matter which way this goes, just as long as I make sure I put the white in there before I actually stamp. Now, it's going to be difficult today. Before that sets too much, I am going to stick this piece. Of course, I didn't get all the bits out of here either. Okay, I think I got all those. I'm going to take my liquid glue and I'm just going to put it on the big parts. I see a bit that didn't come out. And then I'm just going to tuck it underneath here, down far enough that it doesn't go off my card. Okay, now this glue is just seeping out, so I'll cap that off. And then so this is going to go back in that way. So now I'm going to stamp my happy birthday. This time I'm going to use Petunia Pop. And then we're going to, well, maybe I'll use liquid glue. And then just nestle that back in there. And then I had some in color dots. Here they are on the floor. So we're going to use 2 big ones. I love these in color dots. They are so flat, so hopefully will be easy for mailing. More economical, maybe I should say. Okay, there we have card number 2. Card number 3, I made into a sympathy card. So we will dump out card number 3. And I think I like the more soft side for the sympathy card. If your adhesive doesn't catch for you, instead of using your finger to roll it up, you can just do it on your silicone craft sheet, because it will just rub right off of there. So we'll center that. And then we will put that on our card base. Maybe I want to use the distress tile instead. I have two of the two leaves. There's a double leaf and a single leaf. Okay. Sorry, I should have done this before the video. I forgot that these weren't all popped out. But once you have all the die cuts out and all the little bits out of there, these 4 cards are real easy, real quick to put together. You could use them as a gift set, tie a ribbon around them or make a little box for them and give them as a gift. I know my mother-in-law and daughter-in-law love getting my handmade cards. I usually give them a whole bunch at a time of blank cards so that they can send those out to other people. So let's see here. Here it is. Again, I'm going to use the Petunia Pop. I love these new in colors. It's hard for me to decide which one's my favorite. Probably Petunia Pop. I'm a purple girl. But all of them are just really beautiful colors. I'm glad they'll be around for 2 years. With Stampin' Up, they introduce 5 new in colors each year, and they're good for, they're in our families for 2 years. So it gives you plenty of time to play with them and use them. And we're going to pop this up. And I'm not going to press it down all the way. I'm just going to get it kind of where I would like it. Try this liquid glue one more time. What you can do as well, I've got some liquid glue where it was just running out. You can just run the die on the back of that and it gets glue on the back for you. Well, here I said I wasn't going to push it down, but okay, so we'll put that one there and this one. Just get some glue on the back. And I didn't think the sympathy card needed any more embellishments than that. So that, quick and easy, is done for number 3. Now on to our last card. This one's just a little hello card. So we will stamp our hello. I like this little die. It's very cute. And the hello from the stamp set fits perfectly on it. Okay, so we will, I think I'm going to use the polka dot side up on this one. Boy, my adhesive is giving me a challenge today. Has that ever happened to any of you guys where it just doesn't want to cooperate? Okay. And then this goes down on our card base. Our little hello is going to just go on the back of this circle. And then, of course, we're going to pop it up. Whoops, I guess we should put it right side up. And we're going to try this liquid glue again. This image has, whoa, just as I say it has some bigger places, that glue decided to just come on out. But you can tap it off on your silicone mat. And I'm just going to tuck it in here. Sorry, I think I was out of camera. I'm so sorry. Okay, and then the last three little embellishments. I love my Take Your Pick tool. I can't make a card without it. It's definitely a third hand for me. We'll switch it up here. Wow. All right. There we have it. Pop on over to my blog for all the measurements and the supplies that I used. And if you've liked my video, I would appreciate it if you gave me a thumbs up and liked it, and subscribed if you're not already. Thanks so much for stopping by.